Imagine the world's most breathtaking symphonies. They aren't born from random notes, but from a precise, often unseen score. The top 1%. They conduct their lives with a similar, deeply personal score, a set of habits that resonate with their unique purpose. A blueprint of intentional, deliberate choices. It's time to ask yourself, what if the chaos of your days could be converted into the symphony of your success? Not by following someone else's playbook, but by crafting your own set of principles, rules, and habits, which are nothing short of magic. Remember, the top 1% do not just stumble into greatness. Their dictionary doesn't include traditional definitions of these two words, luck and chance. They do not follow a one-size-fits-all regime. Instead, they dictate the direction of their lives by adapting to certain situations, and they welcome change whenever required, all by making a blueprint of their own, adaptable and interchangeable habits. This exploration delves into 7 core habits, not as rigid rules, but as adaptable principles, revealing how the top 1% navigate uncharted territories of mastery, crafting a symphony of success that is uniquely their own. And most importantly, these habits aren't some universal templates. They're the tools that you can shape, bend, and make your own. Now, the question is, what's your symphony? And what would it be like to start composing one intentional habit at a time? Seems intriguing, right? Well, let's find out. Tell me, why do you do what you do? Do not take it as a random question. Are you grinding to get rich? Are you grinding so you can have a huge bank balance and a big house? Are you working day and night for external recognition and fame? Let me tell you, the real transformation comes from inside. From answering a question so personal that it became almost impossible to ignore. Knowing your why is one of the first steps in transformation. Let's discuss a case study of Dr. Gladys West, the genius who laid the foundation of GPS, a technology billions use nowadays. But here's a catch. She wasn't chasing fame or money. She wasn't doing all that to get applause from the external world. Her purpose, her why, was simple. A desire to solve the complex problems of the world and making life easier. Her why was intrinsic, not extrinsic. It was embedded deep innate, not superficial. At one occasion, Dr. Gladys West said, "You have to have a purpose larger than yourself to achieve anything worthwhile." So remember, your why is inside yourself. It's something only you know. It's never about what the world expects from you. In the words of Carl Jung, your vision will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks outside, dreams. Who looks inside, awakes. Imagine yourself standing on the edge of your limits, not physically, but mentally. And guess what? Still not stopping there and saying, yes, I can still go further. That's exactly what it meant for Alex Honnold, the famous free solo climber. For him, it was never just about scaling a 3,000-foot rock face without ropes. It was more of a test of his mental capability and toughness. His principle was about embracing the stress that can build him and make him resilient, not break him. This is known as eustress, the positive stress, the kind that propels you to go further, the kind that pushes your limits, the kind that allows you to get out of your comfort zone. But let me be clear, I'm not saying that you must climb a mountain to grow. I'm just saying that ask yourself, when was the last time you intentionally took a challenge that scared you? Remember, the top 1% don't fear discomfort. They embrace them as opportunities to get out of comfort zone and think out of box, to grow consistently. And the result? They are in top 1%. In the words of Will Smith, greatness exists on the other side of fear. Have you ever been absorbed in something that made the clock not slow down, but totally stop? Doing so deeply that made everything else in the world disappear? Well, that's what a flow state is, where performance and productivity maximize to a whole new level. And same was the case with Magnus Carlsen, the world chess champion. For him, chess wasn't just about moving pieces on the board. It was more about entering a certain realm, a flow state where every decision to move a piece was a very calculated one. And the most important thing is, flow isn't luck. It's science, and it's very doable. Neuroscientists call it a state of hypofrontality, where prefrontal cortex, the area of brain responsible for self-doubts and overthinking capabilities, takes a back seat. The leftovers? Your skill and your focus in purest form. And that's when you are at your best. Your performance is at its peak, and your productivity multiplies by thousands. Now, tell me, when was the last time you achieved that level of focus and concentration where everything else seemed to disappear? Well, your answer tells what position are you in and what you should do to be included in that 1% of the greats. Because flow isn't an innate ability, it's an acquired skill, and you can master it. One of the biggest myths of the people is that they think networking is just about collecting business cards or LinkedIn connections. That's not right on so many levels. It's about creating an ecosystem so vast, diverse, and collaborative, where skills complement each other, ideas gather around and sum up, and where the results of collective efforts yield far more superior results than the individual efforts. For example, open source software. It is built and run by many geniuses all around the world who work together to create an ecosystem where all of the genius have a collaborative vision. It has engineers from Mumbai, Nairobi, and Stockholm, etc., who share codes, ideas, and expertise to yield the best results. Now, what is your network? Who inspires you? Who complements your skill? Who puts you down? Who is playing significant role in your growth and personal development? Ask all of these questions to yourself and measure where you are standing in your life. In the words of Stephen Covey, seek first to understand, then to be understood. Life isn't easy. Let's be honest. It isn't easy for you, and it isn't easy for others. It hasn't been easy even for the most successful people in the present and the past. They had stresses, they faced anxiety and adversities. They were human beings too. But the difference? Resilience. They didn't just endure these tough moments. They used them as a fuel to master their skills, to master their approach towards different problems, and developed a growth mindset. Remember, emotional regulation isn't about suppressing your emotions. It is rather the art of creating a space between triggers and response. Techniques like mindfulness, meditation, and breathing are important in achieving clarity of mind. Remember the last time you were in a difficult situation. Did you respond to it by rationality, critical thinking, and doing your best to prevent yourself from affecting it negatively? Or did you just react rashly and let your emotions take over you? Convert your why me into what now and what can I do now to reverse it. Don't fear the storm and run away. Rather learn to dance in the rain. In the words of Marcus Aurelius, if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment. There's something that separates the pioneers from the followers. The pioneers anticipate the problems, they see it coming beforehand, and they act accordingly to prevent them. The biggest example is Grace Hopper. She anticipated the needs of future and acted accordingly and helped invent digital technology. She saw a huge potential in revolutionizing computers, and she sought out disruptive trends. Are you waiting for future to just happen and reward you? Or are you shaping your future? Are you playing a role in anticipating tomorrow's problems? And if yes, are you finding its solutions? Because the top 1% not only adapt to change, but they actively participate in change itself. A positive change for the better of tomorrow. In the words of Grace Hopper, the most dangerous phrase in the language is, "We've always done it this way." The top 1% of the people may have slightly different views and principles, but there's one question that is common in all. How can I leave this world better than I found it? They ask themselves. And how do they answer this question? By actions, not by words. Remember, every action we take sends ripples into this world. So if those ripples fade, some go unnoticed, while some turn into waves. And these are the ones that shape the future and transform the life of millions. Those who are working today for the environment, making efforts to protect the beautiful Earth from imminent adverse environmental conditions if it isn't protected, are not just working for themselves. They're working to save the Earth for future generations to come. They are creating a positive impact. They are leaving behind a legendary and unmatched legacy. Now, are you going to leave behind a legacy, or are you going to live a life no one will remember? The choice is yours. Finding intrinsic purpose, embracing discomfort, and getting out of comfort zone, paying focused attention, developing strong networks, forging mental resilience, shaping the future, and most importantly, leaving behind a super legacy. Now, these 7 habits are not rigid banks, but the very current of a river, a force of constant motion and adaptation. To grasp them is to build a box, not of confinement, but of concentrated potential. A box that, when opened, releases a river of influence, transforming the landscape it touches. And in that release, you discover the true mastery of your own uncharted territories. So, step beyond the familiar, embrace the uncharted, build your box, and unleash your river. Thank you for watching this video. If you found this video inspiring and helpful, kindly give us a thumbs up and share it with your friends and family. Let's change ourselves. Let's change our world.